Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader rejects this morning U.S. calls for surrender and warns any military involvement by Americans would cause irreparable damage to the U.S. Iranian ambassador to the UN, Ali Bahraini, says Iran's keeping a close eye on the U.S.
We firmly believe that the United States is complicit in what Israel is doing. Israel without United States is nothing.
You can tune in often for the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. We'll have coverage at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks. Right now, it is 79 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. Some clouds and some rain around today, but hot. Will hit the 90s today. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. Gwinnett County Police are searching for a suspect after a man is shot and killed in Norcross. Corporal Ryan Winterweedle says this happened on Dawson Boulevard, that's just off I-85 and Jimmy Carter Boulevard. A bystander was also hit.
She was just outside somewhere and a bullet or bullet fragment happened to injure her leg.
That bystander is still recovering. No word on any arrests or suspects in that case. He says they're also trying to figure out a motive in the crime. Atlanta-based movie mogul Tyler Perry's denying all allegations after an actor accuses him of sexual assault. The lawsuit from Derek Dixon, an actor on Perry's TV drama The Oval, says Perry first began sending him sexually explicit text messages when he initially worked as an event staff member at one of Perry's parties. He claims Perry then assaulted him several times at Perry's home in Atlanta. Perry's attorney, meanwhile, accused Dixon of only getting close to Perry to ultimately set up a scam. The city of South Fulton cuts the ribbon on a new roundabout designed to cut down on the number of deadly crashes.
The intersection of Butner and Union Roads is known as a dangerous spot for drivers and pedestrians, and City Council member Carmelita Gum says the new $4.4 million roundabout should provide some life-saving relief.
I live close to the area. I hear the crashes that have taken place, and we've done a lot to try to really keep our residents safe. So this is a long time coming. We're happy to see it.
The project's funded by a special local option sales tax for transportation and also includes new wider sidewalks, curbs, and drainage. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
A Senate Judiciary Committee gets into an intense debate over allegations to cover up former President Biden's alleged mental decline.
Republican Senator John Cornyn co-chaired and asked about what should be done when the president is incapable of performing his duties.
We need to know who was in charge during the last months of the Biden administration.
Democrat Dick Durbin says lawmakers should be focused on things like the assassination of a Minnesota lawmaker.
Allison Keyes reports Biden calls it a distraction. Well, happening this afternoon, the Federal Reserve meets to make a decision on interest rates. Economists expect the Fed will hold rates steady, which is good for savers, not so good, though, for borrowers.
It's crazy right now. You can go online and find savings rates at 3.5% to 4.5% for high-yield savings accounts, CDs. But borrowers, boy, is it tough. If you look at average credit card interest rates, over 21%. You go buy a new car, you get a 5-year loan, it's 8%.
Jill Schlesinger reports that decision's due out in the 2 o'clock hour. Federal health officials may soon drop their recommended limits for drinking alcohol.
The current U.S. dietary guidelines say women should have no more than 1 drink a day and men should have no more than 2. The new guidelines will likely not recommend any specific number, but simply encourage Americans to drink in moderation. It would be a big change months after former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy called for warning labels on alcoholic drinks about the possible cancer risks.
Michael Wallace reports data shows more people die of preventable alcohol-related cancers every year than drunk driving. Ford is issuing a recall for more than 300,000 Mustang Mach-E's because a low 12-volt battery can cause the doors to lock.
A software glitch can cause what Ford calls a lockout condition. Those inside can get out, but a child or disabled person may not be able to use the door release handle.
Jeff Gilbert reports it applies to 2021 to 2025 model years Mach-E's. It is 12:04, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Continuing to sound this traffic, red alert Austin on the southeast perimeter. 285 westbound has been shut down for truck crash cleanup at Flat Shoals. Interloop delays begin as you leave Memorial Drive now. The quicker you can find your way to Memorial Drive to Candler Road perhaps, or take I-20 west into town to Flat Shoals, you can avoid that backup there. 85 south, still pretty crowded into town beginning before North Druid Hills, and some construction delays getting out of Henry County on 75 southbound below Bill Gardner Parkway. Cruiser in the right lane. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Now it's time for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high near 90. Staying mainly dry, only a slim chance of an isolated pop-up storm this afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, watching for a few rounds of rain showers and thunderstorms to roll through, high 89. Then turning hotter and drier for this weekend. Partly cloudy on Friday, high 91. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday and Sunday, highs in the low to mid 90s. Potentially reaching 98 degrees by the middle of next week.
Right now it's 81 in Kennesaw, 80 in Norcross, and 79 in Midtown. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson here. Welcome. We've got some big news out of the top of the show we've got to get to. I hope you get the show notes because it's there. I just finished writing the synopsis. We'll have it in your inbox here in just a minute so you understand the Scrimeti decision has come down. Welcome. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you text DATA to 33777, follow that link, and you'll be able to get the show notes. Scrimeti has been decided. I was getting a little nervous about the Scrimeti decision because it should have come out sooner than now, given that it was argued in December. Typically, cases come out in batches based on when they were argued, and Scrimeti was argued December 4th of last year, decided now today by the United States Supreme Court, a 6-3 decision. Scrimeti is actually a groundbreaking case, United States versus Scrimeti. It was argued by the Biden administration and the Trump administration that they wanted to get it done as quickly as possible, so the Trump administration could not come in and change the argument in the case. Here's the fact pattern of Scrimeti. In 2023, Tennessee, I'm reading from the actual language of the court decision, Tennessee joined the growing number of states restricting sex transition treatments for minors by enacting the Prohibition on Medical Procedures Performed on Minors Related to Sexual Identity Act, SB 1. That was a mouthful. SB 1 prohibits healthcare providers from prescribing, administering, or dispensing puberty blockers or hormones to any minor for the purpose of, 1, enabling the minor to identify with or live as a purported identity inconsistent with the minor's biological sex, or 2, treating purported discomfort or distress from a discordance between the minor's biological sex and asserted identity. At the same time, the Tennessee legislation permits a healthcare provider to administer puberty blockers or hormones to treat a minor's congenital defect, precocious puberty, disease, or physical injury. 3 transgender minors, their parents, and a doctor challenged SB 1 under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The district court partially enjoined the legislation, finding that transgender individuals constitute a quasi-suspect class, that SB 1 discriminates on the basis of sex and transgender status, and that SB 1 was unlikely to survive intermediate scrutiny. Intermediate scrutiny means that there has to be more than just a rational basis for the legislation. There's got to be more. There's got to be a heightened justification for the legislation. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed, said the law didn't trigger heightened scrutiny and satisfied rational basis, and the court reviewed whether SB 1 violates the Equal Protection Clause. Now, the court, to some degree, has punted the decision. Chief Justice Roberts wrote for the court, and let me give you the breakdown here because this kind of gives you a sense of what's happening. John Roberts wrote the opinion of the court. Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Sam Alito joined as to parts 1 and 2B. Clarence Thomas filed a concurring opinion. Amy Coney Barrett filed a concurring opinion in which Clarence Thomas joined. Justice Alito filed an opinion concurring in part and concurring in judgment. Sotomayor, Jackson, and Kagan all dissented. What does this mean? This is gobbledygook, except what we're essentially getting at is that the court has decided to not decide whether or not a transgender person is a protected class. They decided to punt on that issue. Who is the foremost voice on the Supreme Court for saying that transgender people are not a protected class? And I need to explain what a protected class is. A protected class is based on the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. And the immutable characteristics of a person become a protected class. So someone's race, ethnicity, and sex, and the Supreme Court has ruled sexual orientation, those are protected classes. So if you're black, you can't change that you're black. If you're a woman, pay attention here, biologically, if you're a woman, you can't change that you're now a man. So one of the arguments made in this case was that actually a woman born a man is actually a woman and has to use surgery to conform herself to what she was supposed to be. You got that? It's rather confusing here, but it's important you understand that. What was being argued by the trans class of people here is that because they are born transgender, surgeries have to be used to conform them to who they actually are. Now, that is definitionally not immutable, but they're twisting the wording. Remember, with postmodernism and Marxists, they twist the word, so immutability means something other than an unchanging characteristic now. Well, the Supreme Court, basically what John Roberts says, we don't even have to get to that point. I'll just read you his conclusion. It's not a long decision from the Supreme Court today. And the decision from John Roberts actually does make some sense. He concludes this way. We cite this report on transgenderism and the National Health Service, England's response, not for guidance they might provide on the ultimate question of United States law, but to demonstrate the open questions regarding basic factual issues before medical authorities and other regulatory bodies. Such uncertainty affords little basis for judicial responses in absolute terms, and the calculus of effects, the manner in which a particular law reverberates in society, is a legislative and not a judicial responsibility. This case carries with it the weight of fierce scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and propriety of medical treatments in an evolving field. The voices in these debates raise sincere concerns. The implications for all are profound. The Equal Protection Clause does not resolve these disagreements, nor does it afford us license to decide them as we see best. Our role is not to judge the wisdom, fairness, or logic of the law before us, but only to ensure that it does not violate the equal protection guarantee of the 14th Amendment. Having concluded it does not, we leave questions regarding its policy to the people, their elected representatives, and the democratic process. In other words, John Roberts is skipping the issue of whether or not trans people are a protected class, and deciding that this issue on minors is irrelevant. Now, what about Bostock? Bostock is the famous case that says that trans employees get protection under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Roberts writes, Bostock versus Clayton County does not alter our analysis. In Bostock, we held that an employer who fires an employee for being gay or transgender violates Title VII's prohibition on discharging an individual because of their sex. We reasoned that Title VII's because of test incorporates the traditional but for causation standard, which directs us to change one thing at a time and see if the outcome changes. If it does, we found a but for cause. Applying that test, we held that for an employer to discriminate against employees for being homosexual or transgender, the employer must intentionally discriminate against individual men and women in part because of their sex. In such a case, the employer has penalized a member of one sex for a trait or action that it tolerates in members of the other. The plaintiffs urge us to apply Bostock's reasoning to this case. In their view, Tennessee's law violates the Equal Protection Clause because it prohibits a minor whose biological sex is female from receiving testosterone to live as a male, but allows a minor whose biological sex is male to receive testosterone for the same purposes. Applying Bostock, they argue that Tennessee's law discriminates on the basis of sex because it penalizes members of one sex for traits and actions it tolerates in another. We have not yet considered whether Bostock's reasoning reaches beyond Title VII, and we need not do so here. For reasons we've already explained, changing a minor's sex or transgender status does not alter the application of the law. If a transgender boy seeks testosterone to treat his gender dysphoria, the law prevents a healthcare provider from administering it to him. If you change his biological sex from female to male, the law would still not permit him the hormones he seeks because he would lack a qualifying diagnosis for the testosterone. In other words, this is a clever wordplay from John Roberts saying we don't want to talk about Bostock. We don't want to talk about it. What we're going to find, what the court found, is that it is perfectly lawful for state legislatures to intervene, and it's better for state legislatures to intervene in matters of child health than it is for the courts to intervene. What's notable is not John Roberts' decision so much as Amy Coney Barrett's concurrence. A concurrence comes when a justice of the court agrees with the decision of the court but wants to amplify or highlight something that the justice believes the court missed or could have done better at or could have added to. And Amy Coney Barrett writes a very forceful concurrence, and all you Amy Coney Barrett haters out there are going to need to contend with this. Justice Barrett, with whom Justice Thomas joins, because the court concludes that Tennessee Senate Bill 1 does not classify on the basis of transgender status, it does not resolve whether transgender status constitutes a suspect class. I write separately to explain why, in my view, it does not. Classifications based on race, sex, and alienage are considered suspect classes. Laws are presumed to be constitutionally valid so long as it bears a rational relationship to some legitimate act. There are a few exceptions, classifications based on race, sex, and alienage. Racial and ethnic classifications receive strict scrutiny to survive a constitutional challenge. They must be narrowly tailored to serve a compelling governmental interest. And laws distinguishing between men and women receive intermediate scrutiny to survive a constitutional challenge. They must be substantially related to achieving an important government objective. Beyond these categories, the set has remained virtually closed. Indeed, the court has not recognized any new constitutionally protected classes in over 4 decades and instead has repeatedly declined to do so. So in urging us to recognize transgender status as a suspect classification, plaintiffs face a high bar. And Amy Coney Barrett concludes a transgender person is not a suspect class deserving of extra equal protection scrutiny. In fact, she says, transgenderism is not immutable. It actually goes against the word immutability. It is something that must be changed. The Equal Protection Clause does not demand heightened judicial scrutiny of laws that classify based on transgender status. Rational basis review applies, which means that courts must give legislatures flexibility to make policy in this area. I would not recognize a new suspect class absent a demonstrated history of legal discrimination, not presumed discrimination, but actual legal discrimination. Justice Thomas agrees with her. Justice Alito filed a concurrence going even further, saying, hey, we should go on and decide this today and say transgender people are not a protected class. So you have Alito, you got Thomas, you've got Barrett. Now remember, Kavanaugh is in this camp as well, and he signaled as much in the Bostock case. That leaves Roberts and Gorsuch. Gorsuch wrote Bostock, and it was pretty clear during the hearing on Scrimeti that Gorsuch was second-guessing himself on Bostock. What Roberts did is he threaded the needle out of respect for Gorsuch's Bostock decision, saying, hey, we don't have to get to equal protection here. We can affirm Tennessee without going there. He probably would have had Kavanaugh on their side. They probably could have done it, but he did not feel the need to get there. And to some people, this is suggesting maybe Gorsuch wasn't ready to walk back Bostock. Roberts found a very clever way to avoid walking back that case that gave transgender people civil rights claims for discrimination only a few years ago, while also denying transgender people protected class status. It's a very big decision today in the United States Supreme Court. What it says, essentially, 6-3 from the U.S. Supreme Court, is that states can regulate issues of transgenderism and medical access for transgender care, and the courts have to stay out of the way.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 in the Cool Lake area, WSB 24-hour traffic center. We've got this big red alert in DeKalb County, I-285 southbound, westbound, right there at Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. It is a red alert. All lanes are blocked. You're being forced to get off at Flat Shoals Road if you get down there, so avoid the area. Use I-20 as your alternate. This report is sponsored by Peach Pass and the new Peach Pass Go mobile app. The Peach Pass Go mobile app helps you get there faster with new and improved features and more coming soon. Download the new Peach Pass Go mobile app today at peachpass.com. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Stalled Big Rig 275 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
You slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at aceHardwareHomeservices.com.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. We are here with the owners and experts, Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum. So Ted, you guys have some incredibly exciting news to share with people looking for window and door replacement.
Yes, we do. We were blessed to move to a bigger, better location, and that makes window and door shopping so simple for our customers. The new location's already helping make our business more efficient, and everyone loves the Infinity from Marvin experience, where you could see for yourself the fiberglass difference side by side compared with other types of windows like vinyl composites.
What can someone expect when they visit your beautiful new Alpharetta showroom?
First of all, expect to meet some of the most educated window and door experts in the business. Our people really make a big difference. They are the very best in the industry, and we have so many window and door styles on display that you can see the difference in quality for yourself. Our showroom also includes some of the newest technological advances available in windows and doors.
Now, do do you need an appointment for a showroom consultation, or can I just drop by?
You can just drop by. We're open Monday through Saturday, and we'd like to personally invite you to schedule a time to meet with someone at our showroom, or we'll bring samples to you for an in-home appointment. The showroom really makes it easy for you. Stop by and see the beautiful Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows in person. They'll improve your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal. And we promise a stress-free experience, including a quick, accurate proposal without the pressure of pricing games.
And right now, it's time to jump into June's savings at North Georgia Replacement Windows. You'll get 15% off your project, plus 36 months no interest with equal payments. Hurry, these offers will end 6/30/25. Visit the new amazing showroom in Alpharetta, and be sure to visit us online at ngwindows.com. ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Yes, you can call in 877-973-7425. Glad to have you with me. I need to congratulate Ron DeSantis. Listener Ron DeSantis down in Florida, I need to congratulate you for being the winner. You have now overseen more Stanley Cup wins than the last several Canadian prime ministers combined, which is a remarkable feat. That's right. The Florida Panthers won. My son, he's been corrupted by my employee. They were rooting for the Canadians last night because they're Tampa Bay Lightning fans. And they were trounced by the Americans, the Florida Panthers, as God intended to happen to the Canadians. And the Florida Panthers won. Ron DeSantis is now, as governor, overseen more Stanley Cup wins than like 3 prime ministers in a row in Canada. What is it? In fact, Justin Trudeau, as Prime Minister of Canada, has won 0 Stanley Cups. And now the new guy, what's his name? He's got 0 Stanley Cups. Ron DeSantis is getting all the Stanley Cups from him. And how is it, friends, in all honesty, just take the little needling of Canada out of this. How is it that they're not winning Stanley Cups? How is it, and it's not even Canada, how is it that Florida is winning Stanley Cups? There is no ICE in Florida except immigration officers. And somehow Florida is able to, the Tampa Lightning have won, the Panthers have won repeatedly. How is it that Floridians are winning ice hockey? I don't understand that. God's got a sense of humor, though. I'm sure he has something to do with it. On July 1st, the new Basel III banking rules go into effect, and they could reshape global finance overnight. For decades, gold has been treated as second-class collateral. It allows banks to flood the market with what they call paper gold. It's leveraged 100 to 1, but that's going to end under Basel III. Under the new rules, only physical, fully allocated gold will qualify as Tier 1 collateral. Tier 1 collateral is equivalent to cash. Paper gold's now going to be backed by at least 85% real metal, but that's still not 100%. Central banks aren't waiting. They've been quietly stockpiling physical gold for months. They see what's coming, and it's why gold prices are going up. On July 6th and 7th, the BRIC nations gathering, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and 40 other nations are working to ditch the U.S. dollar and settle trades with gold, so they're all buying gold. So what should you do? Act now. Call my friends at Swiss America, trusted leader in precious metals for over 40 years. Find out how to protect your savings with real physical gold before Basel III take effect. Call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Just tell them Eric Erickson sent you. 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Installed Big Rig 285 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Hear you slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 12:30. I'm Austin Eller. This news brought to you by Jim Ellis Automotive. Our top story, updating Israel at war. President Trump continues to weigh direct involvement in the conflict between Israel and Iran.
The president says it's not too late for Iran to give up its nuclear program. As for whether the U.S. will get involved,
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
The president posted on social media yesterday the words unconditional surrender and was asked to clarify today.
That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it, I give up, no more. Then we go blow up all the nuclear stuff.
Linda Kenyon reports Israel's supreme leader, meanwhile, says his country will not bow to U.S. demands. Tune in often for the latest in the conflict. We'll have coverage at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks. A Metro Atlanta nonprofit is assessing the damage after an early morning warehouse fire. The Furniture Bank of Metro Atlanta helps Atlanta's most vulnerable families.
We're the only agency in Atlanta that is able to give free furniture to folks that are moving out of homelessness, fleeing domestic violence, or low income and having some sort of life struggle like a flood or a fire.
The executive director of the nonprofit, Megan Anderson, tells Channel 2 Action News they had just received hundreds of dressers and mattresses from UGA. One firefighter is in stable condition after suffering from dehydration battling that fire. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits dipped to 245,000 last week, that amid uncertainty over U.S. trade policies. Jobless claims ticked down from 250,000 the week prior. The number of Americans collecting unemployment benefits the week of June 7th also slid to 1.95 million. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather up next. It is 12:31.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
365 days a year, just call us up, we'll be right there. Our service is guaranteed. At Shoemate, we take great care. Our experts are always there for you and your family's needs. When your family just can't wait, you can always count on Shoemate.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Are you looking for trustworthy automotive service for your European vehicle? Well, look no further than Rocco's European Garage. This is Rocco, and my brothers and I built this company by prioritizing honest, clear, upfront, and all-in pricing that is approved by you prior to us beginning work. We offer a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker and shuttle service for more convenience. So next time your check engine light comes on your Mercedes or BMW, Porsche, Land Rover, or Audi, get honest auto repair or maintenance at Rocco's European Garage.
It's 12:34, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. George Clark's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Red alert continues into DeKalb County, I-285 westbound, southbound, right there at Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. All lanes are blocked. A tipped dump truck spilled dirt on the road, and they're still cleaning that dirt up. All lanes are blocked. You're being forced off at Flat Shoals Road. If you make it all the way down there, use I-20 or the connector as your alternates. Avoid I-285 southbound near I-20 and Flat Shoals Road. You've also got a crash crash in Atlanta, I-75-85 northbound at University Avenue, exit 244. That's blocking 2 right lanes. Stay to the left as you make your way into the city. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid with a high near 90. Mainly dry, just a slim chance of an isolated pop-up storm.
It's 83 in Conyers, Austell, and Midtown. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. Happening right now as I speak. Missiles have taken off from Iran, headed towards Israel. Another barrage of ballistic missiles will be impacting Israel here within the next few minutes. It is, I have to say, it is actually a wild part of this job on a day like this to be sitting here and seeing the alerts come in that missiles are live and in the air from Iran, or Israel is bombarding. It's just it's another day in paradise here on the radio, I guess. We'll get to the lay of the land there, the Tucker Carlson situation and the like at the top of the next hour. I actually want to spend time here now on the border. I'm not going to play you too much of this, but I want you to hear this audio. Pete Hegseth was testifying before the United States Congress today, and MSNBC was carrying his remarks live until he started to talk about how secure the border is.
As was mentioned by the chairman, we are working to achieve 100% operational control of the border. Illegal crossings have decreased 99.9%, and it was just reported today that CBP released 0 illegals into the U.S. last month, down from 62,000 released into the interior.
Secretary of Defense Hegseth talking about the Pentagon's budget there on.
We can't highlight Joe Biden. We can't highlight the show. We were told for 4 years under Joe Biden that it would take an act of Congress to secure the border, that Joe Biden couldn't do it alone. And Donald Trump, during that entire time, said this is a matter of will, not a matter of Congress. In May of 2024, 62,000 illegal aliens were released into the United States. In May of 2024, 62,000 illegal aliens were released by the Biden administration into the United States. In May of 2025, 0. From 62,000 to 0. The only thing that has changed is the presidential administration. That's it. The only thing that has changed. Joe Biden said it would take an act of Congress. The Democrats insisted Congress must be involved. And Donald Trump said it's just a matter of will. It's a matter of using existing law. And by the way, he's using existing law. Even the most progressive court judges haven't been able to stop him from using existing law to secure the border. And the Democrats are on the losing side of the issue. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, she now wants to use state taxpayer dollars to pay for lawyers for illegal aliens.
They're walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation.
$50 million from the state of New York will be used to fund legal representation for illegal aliens on the verge of deportation. New York, are you okay with that? You guys in Buffalo? Y'all all right with that? Y'all okay up there in New York City? Are you okay with the state of New York spending $50 million of your dollars? $50 million of your dollars. Watertown, New York, what could you use for $50 million? What could you buy for Watertown, New York with $50 million in state money? You guys in Buffalo? What about y'all? Surely you could do something for your city with $50 million in taxpayer money in New York, and instead The governor of New York is going to take that money from Watertown, take that money from Buffalo, take that money from everywhere else in New York, and give it to illegal aliens for lawyers to avoid deportation. And by the way, you can't stop them from being deported. The money's going to go to waste. You're going to fund lawyers. This is all a racket because the lawyers are then going to give political contributions to the Democrats in New York. And yes, I am on the radio in Watertown and Buffalo. And more to come. This is wild, though. These are the priorities of the Democrats. They're on the side of the illegal aliens against common sense, against the taxpayers. And time again they are. Tom Homan has done a fantastic job. There was a big hullabaloo at the end of last week. Donald Trump said that they're going to take it easy on the service industry, particularly on farms and restaurants. They understand that farmers and restaurateurs, they need low-wage employees, and they were worried about illegal aliens being deported and not being able to pick the crops for the Democrats. And over the weekend, Trump came out and said, you know what, never mind, treat every illegal alien equally. Treat every illegal alien equally. Round them up. It makes sense. Y'all, we do have programs by which we can allow individuals into the country to pick crops for cheap and then go home. Seasonal migrant work. We can do it for restaurants. We can do these things. And it's possible. It is legal. We have existing programs, but nobody wants to process the paperwork. Nobody wants to process the paperwork. They should process the paperwork. We should be doing this. We should be requiring that the illegal aliens come in through the temporary migrant worker program. And frankly, we shouldn't make them have to deal with the minimum wage. Just come in, work for cheap, and go home. That'll solve everyone's problem, except the Democrats need this canard that the minimum wage is necessary. They don't actually want to pay these people minimum wage. They actually want to get these people money under the table and then send them on their way. So they're your problem and my problem, and they take taxpayer resources off Medicare, Medicaid in particular. They use Medicaid. We've got Congress right now. The United States Senate is working on reforms for Medicaid. They want to make sure able-bodied people work. They want to cut the amount of money that states that expanded Medicaid under Obamacare get. Some Senate Republicans actually are trying to sabotage it from reforming Obamacare. And illegal immigrants are driving up the costs. I mean, this is part of the problem that we don't talk about enough. People on the right, they talk about the crime issues related to illegal immigrants. Fentanyl, by the way, is down. The Washington Post had a story 2 weeks ago. We didn't really spend a lot of time of it on the show because it came out on the weekend. And the Washington Post was like, we don't know why. We have no idea. Experts say it's complicated, but the amount of fentanyl being trafficked in the United States is at an all-time low. They have no idea why. They have no idea. They can't figure it out. Seriously, you can't figure it out? The number of people crossing the border in May of this year is 0 compared to 62,000 last year. Now, there are gotaways probably. It's true. There are probably people coming through mountainous and canyon passes that we don't know about. It's true. They might just be coming in, and we don't know where they are, and we don't know who they are. But we also know for certain that it's far less than it was under Joe Biden and under Barack Obama. It's far less. It's guaranteed to be less. It took a president to do it. It didn't take Congress to act. Congress didn't need to act. Congress didn't have to be there. Congress didn't have to pass a law. The only thing that needed to happen was the will of a president to get it done. And that president is Donald Trump. Donald Trump said if he got elected, he would close the border. And Joe Biden laughed at him. Joe Biden literally on the campaign trail laughed and said Donald Trump, despite having been president, doesn't understand the presidency because it's going to take Congress to do it. And Joe Biden assured us all, if I become president again, excuse me, I have a speech impediment. I will work with Congress to get a law passed, but I, as president, can't secure the border on my own. If I would, trust me, I would do it. That's what Joe Biden said. He probably doesn't remember saying it. He said it. Donald Trump came in. Joe Biden said he didn't have the power, said he couldn't do it, said there was no way for it to be done. And the border crossings are zero. Now, what is the Democrats' next angle on this? It's to say, well, it's going to hurt the economy. And essentially, the Democrats want slaves. I mean, the Democrats have been wanting slaves since before the Civil War. I mean, we fought a war in this country to take cheap labor away from the Democrats, and now they found a way to get it back through illegal immigration. And they're upset that the Republicans are yet again taking their serfs from them. The Democrats require cheap labor to take care of their grandmother because God forbid they have to spend any money taking care of their grandmother. I mean, most of what the Democrats have done is they've created a social service program in this country and a taxpayer-funded social safety net so that they themselves can abdicate their responsibility. They're like the runaway dad, except for their grandparents and their parents and their kids. No, government's Uncle Sam's man boob is going to take care of them, not me. That's the Democratic strategy. You know, Uncle Sam's man boob is going to take care of everybody. And who's going to take care of the Democrats? The serfs. No longer slaves. It's the serfs. Wait a second. A buddy of mine who works with the DEA is listening right now, and he just texted me. Drugs are getting harder to get. Now some dealers are ripping people off by selling a kilo of rice as meth. Are you kidding me? Dealers are ripping off people selling rice as meth. Drugs are getting harder to get because Donald Trump closed the border. My drug dealer just arrived at my office. I actually got a text message from my drug dealer saying drugs are here. Yes, I have a drug dealer who brings me drugs. They're in my office right now. It's called caffeine. My kid has brought me coffee. I need coffee. It's just very funny that I get these two messages, one from a guy who works for the DEA and one from my daughter. My daughter's text message says drugs are here, and then my buddy Phil texts, drugs are getting harder to get. Not if you have my kid bringing you coffee to the office. But Joe Biden said none of this could be done. Joe Biden said it couldn't be done. The Democrats said it couldn't be done. The media told you it couldn't be done. How can you believe CNN or MSNBC on anything when they insisted Joe Biden was right and the border couldn't be secured, and last month border crossings were zero? I understand you don't want to believe anything anymore. There is truth, and we've got to ascertain the truth. But I also understand people's deep skepticism of the media that continue to back up Joe Biden repeatedly, and now border crossings are zero, and the media amplified Joe Biden that it couldn't be done. There's no way it could be done. And yet it was done by Donald Trump, who just said, secure the border. And by the way, I saw today, there's an organized effort to pressure the Dodgers to take a stand for illegal immigrants. I've seen one of the reporters, air quotes, reporters for the Bulwark, said mass deportations in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers have said nothing. You know what Donald Trump's popularity is in the Hispanic community? Literally, I'm not making this up. In the polling average, Donald Trump has more support in the Hispanic community than the white community right now. Number one issue for them, illegal immigration, because the illegal immigrants take their jobs first. Why do you think the Dodgers are quiet? Donald Trump's deportations of illegal aliens in the Hispanic community, contrary to what you see on TV, is actually really popular. Because the illegal immigrants take the jobs of immigrants first, and they understand that. And in the process, the illegal immigrants bring crime to their cities, and they understand that. It's the good white progressives at the Huffington Post and the Bulwark who don't seem to understand that. Now, You also understand that at some point your technology starts to fade and you need upgrades, and Vision Computer can take care of your upgrades for you. If you go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE, Vision Computer can build you new computers. Not only does Vision build you new computers, but they then service them, and you get, just go check them out yourself. Google Vision Computers. You'll see thousands and thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews because their customer service is hands down the best. We have one of their computers in our house. Literally, if my son emails them at 11 p.m., he gets a call back within 5 minutes. And they figure out whatever his problem is with the computer. And 9 times out of 10, it's he doesn't know how to do something. And I'm kind of Windows 11 illiterate, and they take care of him. And if they can't navigate him through, they can remote in and fix it. They can do this for you as well. They don't do it for me because I'm Eric Erickson. They do it for me because I'm a customer of Vision Computers. Every customer of Vision Computers gets the Eric Erickson treatment. So you go to 404-COMPUTE. Or you call them at 404-COMPUTER, you go to visioncomputers.com, tell them Eric sent you, you're going to save even more money. They're going to give you a great discount. And if you just want their tech support, you can get just the tech support for $199 a year. It's remarkable service, remarkable quality, remarkable builds. They spend time with you, and they build you your machine, not the one-size-fits-all machine. Visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Now listen, I mentioned Watertown and Buffalo, New York, where I'm on the radio now. They can help you too. Vision Computers is in Atlanta, but they work with people in all 50 states. Don't be afraid to reach out to them and chat. 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
12:51 in the Cool Ray Care EWSB 24-hour traffic center. This red alert continues into Cobb County. It's been hours now that all lanes have been shut down on I-285 southbound, westbound, right there at Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. That's the inner loop. All lanes closed. You're forced off at Flat Shoals Road if you head down that way. Avoid the area. Use I-20 or the connector as your alternates. This report is sponsored by your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy. Kroger Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts, Medicare, D, and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
Well, your pet and your vet. I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Thursday at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, Clark Howard on a new way to pay for your pet's health care. And you want to hear the overnight latest on the Israel-Iran-U.S. story, too. So join us on WSB.
Every year for the 4th of July, my family invites over friends, and I get a big box of burgers and Franks from Omaha Steaks, and we grill out. It's going to be the same this year. Right now, for the 4th of July sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at Omaha Steaks. Just like me, I don't get a special. I take the discount as well, and you can use the promo code ERIC at checkout and get an extra $45 off. So it's already 50% off site-wide, and then you put in ERIC as your promo code, and you get $45 extra off, minimum order required. You get unparalleled quality from Omaha Steaks. It's deliciousness. Get the burgers, get the gourmet jumbo franks. You can get the sides, everything you need. You can even get steaks. We do this every year. It's become a family tradition. Start your own family tradition with Omaha Steaks. Again, 50% off site-wide right now. And if you go to omahasteaks.com with the 50% off site-wide, you get an extra $45 off if you use ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. omahasteaks.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place, you know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. This hour of the program is brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. We got a lot of new people listening to the program. We've grown now over 70 stations nationwide, hoping to get to 100 this year. Let me reset with you, First Liberty. They were our original advertiser. Normally I do this in about 15 seconds. Let me just reset for you. The Frost family are longtime friends of mine. They live in Noonan, Georgia. And they have, since the 1990s, run First Liberty Building and Loan, and they help businesses grow. And they do deals like if you're doing franchises. So let's just say you're buying a restaurant franchise and you need access to the capital. Those are the sorts of deals First Liberty does. They also do heavy equipment loans. If you've got good credit, they can move very quickly to get you $75,000 for heavy equipment for your business. If you're buying out a business partner or competitor or buying the franchise, you need $250,000 or more. First Liberty helps you. Now, they help people in every single one of the states in the United States. I'm hoping they do a tax write-off trip to help their businesses in Hawaii. Nonetheless, every state, every business, you can use First Liberty Building and Loan. They've been doing this since the 90s. It's the exact same people, has been since the 90s. So there's not high turnover because the Frosts run a tight ship, and they're great people to work with. So if you're in the business of business and you want to grow, reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan, firstlibertyga.com. They're headquartered in Georgia, not Wall Street. They treat everybody like a small business. Doesn't matter how big your business is. They want you to be able to grow. FirstLibertyGA.com is the website. You can get all their contact info. They have a program. See if you're a good fit for them. See if they're a good fit for you. But if you're in the business of business and your business needs access to capital, First Liberty, I recommend them. Tell the Frost family I said hi. FirstLibertyGA.com. The court today, the Supreme Court, resolved the Scrimeti case and a number of EPA cases. What it did not resolve was nationwide injunctions. We're still waiting for that case, which should be coming any day. And this comes now as another judge has issued another nationwide injunction, this time telling the Trump administration you can't require biological sex on passports, which is nonsensical. I'm sure the court will be answering this case very soon. When we come back, Tucker Carlson had a meltdown with Ted Cruz. Let me explain to you what's going on with this segment of the MAGA movement I happen to know.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 1 o'clock, I'm Austin Eller. This news brought to you by Dr. Roof. Our top local story is new at 1 o'clock. An Atlanta man's found guilty of starving his young child to death.
A Fulton County jury found Rodney McWee guilty on all counts for the death of his 4-year-old daughter, Treasure. The dad had been found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, cruelty to children, kidnapping, and false imprisonment for starving the child to death. Back in December of 2023, police responded to Renfrew Court and found the 4-year-old girl not breathing or alert. She was later pronounced dead at a Grady hospital. Sentencing for McWee will take place in the next 30 days. Daphne Young, 95.5 WSB.
Right now, it's 82 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. Some storms right now north of the Atlanta perimeter. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Updating Israel at war, the U.S. says it will help evacuate Americans who want to leave Israel amid the growing conflict with Iran.
A social media post from the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, announcing that the U.S. is going to be organizing evacuation flights and cruise ship departures for American citizens interested in leaving Israel.
Olivia Gazis reports this comes as President Trump weighs whether the U.S. should begin military involvement in the conflict. He has refused to comment on the matter. Tune in often for the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. We'll have coverage at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks. A man is dead and a bystander is injured in an overnight shooting in Norcross. Gwinnett County Police Corporal Ryan Winderweedle says this happened on Dawson Boulevard, just off of I-85 and Jimmy Carter Boulevard.
The victim is identified as an Andre Jones, a 29-year-old out of Norcross.
A bystander was also shot in the leg there. They are recovering. The agency says they're still working on a motive, figuring out a motive, I should say. No word on any suspects or arrests. They are asking anyone with information to contact them. As the summer heats up, Atlanta police say they are working overtime to keep the city safe.
According to Police Chief Darren Shearbaum, overall crime is down 10% since this time last year, and homicides specifically are down 33%. But he says the department is doubling down on their efforts to fight gangs, guns, and drugs.
While many Atlantans will go on vacation this year, while individuals will travel here for their vacation, your police department will not be on vacation. We are going to be working double hard to make sure that you enjoy the summer.
He says the effort will be visible with mounted patrols and bike patrols in the city's parks, along with greater use of the department's air unit. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
A new report sounds the alarm on funding for Social Security. The annual report from Social Security's trustees finds it won't be able to fully pay monthly benefits to tens of millions of Americans starting in 2034 unless lawmakers take action. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather up next. It's 102.
Termites, like me, eat 24/7, and your home is in their path of destruction. Mark Aram here for Breda Pest Management. You want a complete barrier from Breda, not just a bait station. If your current service only inspects the outside, how do you know the inside of your home's termite-free? Breda is better at beating termites. Only Breda inspects and protects the outside and inside, plus your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
When it comes to your home, quality is crucial. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. Quality comes first. We have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Listen up, because women have long waited for the world to recognize the importance of our health.
Northside Hospital goes beyond "we hear you" to "we're out here with you," because women deserve more than open ears.
They deserve open doors, and 1 ounce of action is worth 1,000 words.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work for you.
This is a house call. Heard. Learn more at northside.com/heard.
If you drive a Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, or any European import, come see us at Rocco's European Garage. Better value than the dealership, honest and all-in pricing with customer approval prior to us beginning, and our services won't void the manufacturer's warranty. Rocco's European Garage.
It's 1:04. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. George Clark is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Good news in DeKalb. That red alert crash has been cleared. That crash was at I-285 southbound westbound interloop at Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. It had all lanes blocked for over an hour there. That has been cleared to the right shoulder. All lanes are now open. Delays do remain in the area. You can avoid those remaining delays by using I-20 or the connector as your alternate. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today, hot and humid with a high near 90. Just a slim chance of an isolated pop-up storm. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, high 89. Drying out on Friday, partly cloudy, high 91.
There are a couple lines of storms right now in the metro Atlanta area. Two pretty distinct lines just north of the perimeter. One is going up toward 400 north of the Atlanta perimeter. The other kind of up near 575, 75 up that way. Looks like some pretty heavy rain up there. So if you're driving along those roads, make sure you are watching your speed and staying safe out there north again of the perimeter currently. Right now it is 82 degrees in Forest Park, 82 in Mableton, and 82 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
America, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. Now, I want to let's do a little bit of storytelling here, but let me just set this up for you. I'm on radio. My job is to keep you entertained. It's not to save the world. It's not to change your mind. It's not to advocate for legislation. My job is to keep you company, to keep you entertained. And that is my primary job on radio. But I view my job as part of keeping you entertained and telling you stories and painting broader pictures for you what's going on in the world. My job is actually to tell you the truth, to tell you the news of the day. Right now, missiles are in the air from Iran. Iran's supreme leader announced that the battle begins. That's what he's telling Israel today, that today is really Iran striking back. Now that they've got their ducks in a row after the decapitation of their leadership, they intend to fight aggressively. Chinese air cargo ships landed last night in Tehran. It is believed that they were sending resupplies of weaponry for Iran to use. That may be what's happening right now. We will see. But while that is happening, there is growing discontent within parts of MAGA over the issue of Donald Trump and his engagement in the situation of the Middle East and Israel and Iraq and what exactly is going on and who exactly is in charge and what exactly is the mission. There's a lot of anger. Tucker Carlson played gotcha with Ted Cruz last night. Listen to part of this.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
It was Tucker Carlson intended it to be an ICDE question. He intended it to be a gotcha question. It's what members of the left-wing media do. Go back to the year 2000. That was George W. Bush versus Al Gore. George W. Bush versus Al Gore in 2000 in one of the presidential debates. They asked George W. Bush who the president of Pakistan was, and he didn't know the answer. And then they asked him the president of Swaziland, and I think I think it was him. And he pointed out it's actually a king, but he didn't know the name of the person. The reporter didn't know it was a king. But it was a gotcha question. They never asked Al Gore. They didn't want to ask Al Gore. They wanted to ask George W. Bush because it was a discrediting question. You want to be a world leader and you don't know the names of all the world leaders of the 190 plus countries on planet Earth? Same thing here. Someone sent out a cartoon this morning of Tucker Carlson asking Luke Skywalker, what's the population of the Death Star? It's kind of the same way, folks. It's a discrediting question. Oh, you don't know anything about the country. No, here's what you need to know. You don't need to know how many people live in Iran. The question is, do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? But Tucker Carlson is in charge of a vanity project of Tucker Carlson and others of the progressive right to stop Donald Trump from doing what Donald Trump is doing. And what it comes down to is a tale as old as time, to quote Beauty and the Beast. Go back to Adam and Eve, the Tower of Babel, Frankenstein, Pinocchio, so much more. Stories of the creature deciding that it is the creator. If you go to Genesis 1, there's a word used when God says, it says God created the heavens and the earth, and God created the animals, and God created the plants, and God created the heavens, and God created man. It's bara, bara. God baras, and it is a word that only applies to God. God divinely creates. He creates in a way that we can't create. So when the people decided to build the Tower of Babel, the word use is not bara. And occasionally in literature themes and literary themes and religion and stuff, you have stories of the created being deciding it's actually God now. And that's what's happening here with Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson and Jack Posobiec and Candace Owens and the other very loud voices who do not want to engage with Iran, is they think they created Donald Trump, as opposed to Donald Trump really created them, rebuilt platforms for them, made them into something. Steve Bannon rode Donald Trump's coattails. Tucker Carlson has ridden Donald Trump's coattails. These others have ridden Donald Trump's coattails, but they've decided that they're actually the power behind the throne. And one of the things that they have concocted is a mythology and a narrative. And let me give you this. If you read my piece this morning, you know where I'm going, and that is the Iraq War and Afghanistan. There's a reason that Vietnam lingers in the minds of the boomer class in this country. In Vietnam, 358,279 American men were killed or wounded, 58,279 killed, and 300,000 wounded. And young men grew up, and as they got closer to the age of 18, they lived in fear of getting drafted and going to Vietnam. Iraq and Afghanistan had no draft. In fact, in the grand scheme of things, very few Americans were impacted personally by the battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. 58,279 people died in Vietnam. 6,600 died combined in Iraq and Afghanistan. 2,461 in Afghanistan, just over 4,200 in Iraq. Massively different from Vietnam. 300,000 people were wounded in Vietnam. 20,000 were wounded in Afghanistan. Massive, massive disparity. But for some, it became a defining thing for them. Tucker Carlson, of course, felt like he was lied to and played over weapons of mass destruction. Talked to my friends in the military who've been in Syria. They say, we know where Iraq's weapons of mass destruction went. They went to Syria. That's what the Syrians have been using on their people the last couple of decades. It's not that Iraq didn't have weapons of mass destruction. It's that they got them out of the country before we invaded, so we couldn't find them. Whether you believe that or not, it is a mythology to think that Iraq and Afghanistan are this country's new Vietnam, because we were actually winning until Joe Biden pulled us out of Afghanistan. Very few Americans, we're down to like single digits beneath 5 over the last number of years, were dying in Afghanistan, yet 2,000 Afghanis a year were dying because we had transitioned the country. It's not the same thing, but these people built up the mythology and they built up the narrative that we can't have a police, we can't police the world. There can be no more forever wars. This wasn't a forever war. Very few Americans were getting killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. Very few total did compared to Vietnam. It wasn't a forever war. It was our political leadership that made some terrible mistakes over there. They could have been much better mistakes. We could have had the surge earlier. We could have done things differently. The troops themselves were not at fault. But this mythology that's come out of it has come as well from a side note of anti-Semitism. Why? Because it was Paul Wolfowitz and people like that who wanted to engage, and they were Jews. And so these people built up a mythology of America can't be the world's policeman. We can't have forever wars. Iraq and Afghanistan are the new Vietnam. Anytime you go to the Middle East, it becomes another Vietnam. We've got to stay out of the Middle East. Everything in the Middle East is a forever war, and there can be no more wars, and we can't do nation building. Nobody's proposing nation building. In fact, what does Donald Trump himself say? What does Trump say? This is Donald Trump this morning on the White House lawn.
Some of the people on the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking. I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and there'd be a terror all over the world.
He doesn't want a long-term war. He just wants them not to have a nuclear weapon. That's it. No nuclear weapon. He's not looking for nation building. But these people are, we're nation building. We're nation building. Tulsi Gabbard apparently has been releasing some cryptic videos on social media the president saw. There's a big story in Politico. The president is tired of Tulsi Gabbard, doesn't think she adds anything to the conversation, and believes she's been disloyal for these little cryptic suggestions on social media that the neocon warmongers are influencing the president. In other words, the Jews. The president's had enough of it. He's had enough of Tucker Carlson, called him Kooky Carlson. Says he needs a TV show so people can hear what he thinks. Here's what's going on here. Tulsi Gabbard, Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, and the rest of them, they think they created Donald Trump, and Donald Trump recognizes he made them. Carlson would be no one but for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was his own man when he rode that escalator and declared his presidency in 2015. And right now, the division in MAGA is a division between the creator and the people who thought they created the creator. This is a Tower of Babel moment, dividing MAGA between the people who are authentically supporters of Donald Trump and the people who are supporters of their own agenda and treated Donald Trump as if he was the totem of their agenda. And their agenda was simply this, that America should retreat from the world. They have built up a mythology that people believe about Iraq and Afghanistan to convince people we should not be on the world stage. They do not want to be leaders of the world. They want to hand the world over to China and Russia. And they understand that once China and Russia are in control, the return on investment of getting America back in a leadership position will be too great that we'll give up. They want no American leadership in the world. They believe the idea of America running the world is a bad thing. They believe that the Western world being dominated by the United States is a bad thing. They hate American leadership in the world. And they believe they found a kindred spirit in Donald Trump. They believe they could elevate him. Donald Trump's always been pro-America. Donald Trump wants to lead the world. Donald Trump recognizes America's leadership in the world. Donald Trump has been very consistent, as he said for 20 years, that it would be bad for America if Iran had a nuclear weapon because Iran is pledged to destroy the United States of America and Israel. Iran believes that it can bring about the apocalypse with a nuclear weapon, which it believes is a rational thing to do because the apocalypse is good for it. Iran believes if it can bring about the apocalypse, it wins. Now, I've read to the end of the Bible. I know that's not true, but the Iranians are convinced it is. So all of these people believe that Donald Trump was a totem for their ideas, and it turns out he's his own man with his own ideas, and they're angry about it. They don't like it, so now they're seeking to discredit his agenda. And inside the administration, there are people working to sabotage Donald Trump's efforts right now because they, too, are convinced American leadership in the world is a bad thing. And Trump has had enough of it. And so we're seeing this. And you know the bottom line here, this is the sad thing, is that these people, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Candace Owens of the world, they would rather Iran get a nuclear weapon than for their ideological opponents, the neocons, to be right. They would rather Iran get a nuclear weapon than for them to be seen as not controlling Donald Trump because they've monetized. You know all those stories about how often Donald Trump talks to Tucker Carlson, those leaks don't come from Donald Trump, they come from Tucker Carlson. All the people who go to Mar-a-Lago and they put it on their Instagram feed that they were there, they've got pictures of themselves with the president, they're seeding the idea that they are influential, that they're in the president's ear, that they can shape public opinion, and suddenly they're being exposed as impotent, as Donald Trump doesn't actually need them. Donald Trump doesn't need them. He's term limited. He's got a legacy to build now. And if Iran got a nuclear weapon, that would be a devastating end to Donald Trump's legacy, and he understands that. It's sad that these people are more interested in making sure their ideological opponents lose an argument than making sure Iran doesn't get a weapon of mass destruction. And so they will turn on Donald Trump now because he's not giving them what they want, which is victory in an argument that if they won would reduce American influence in the world and raise up an army of our enemies against us. And they're fine with that because it gives them more clout long term. Donald Trump asserting himself as the leader of MAGA undermines their efforts. They convinced themselves they were pulling the strings, and it turns out they were the puppet all along. And they don't like to realize that it's Donald Trump who's been pulling the strings, not them.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 in the Cool Ray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. That earlier red alert crash has cleared and the delays are gone. It was on I-285 westbound, southbound at Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. That has cleared and all the delays are gone, so don't be afraid to get down there on I-285 southbound, westbound near I-20 and Flat Shoals Road. You've got volume slowing you down through the city. I-75-85 southbound slow from 17th Street down to I-20. And this report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off. No antibiotics ever. 80% lean ground beef with Prime through June 24th while supplies last. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
Well, your pet and your vet. I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Thursday at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, Clark Howard on a new way to pay for your pet's health care. Plus breaking Metro stories and our exclusive hot 5-day forecast. Watching, too, for important overnight developments in the Israel-Iran-U.S. story. Plus Scott Slade's Georgia This Week, the Georgia Sound, and how it could help unite America. Join us on 95.5 WSB.
When it's time to replace your windows, make sure you have options and get to choose the energy-efficient window that is right for your home, your style, and your budget. Dave Baker here for the only window company I recommend, Nelson Exteriors. With Nelson, you're in charge. Choose from many top-rated window manufacturers like Andersen and MI, all backed by Nelson's worry-free lifetime labor warranty. Replacement windows, pick the company that's more picky than you. Google Nelson Exteriors.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Select 24 packs of Corona or Modelo lagers are just $29.99 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Must be 21 to purchase. Drink responsibly. The Kroger Co., Cincinnati, Ohio.
Love is the most powerful force in the world. Real love, that is. Real love gives more than it takes, commits more than it demands. Real love is a decision, not a feeling. It's action, not emotion. It's self-sacrifice for the well-being of others. God himself is this love, and he sent Jesus because he loves us. Would you consider getting in on it, receiving it, and then giving it wildly to those around you? This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark retire-ready bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income-producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. But he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the show notes, the podcast, the live stream, all that other stuff. Missiles have been in the air, a couple misses in Israel. I gotta find you this clip. Let me play you this audio. This is Whoopi Goldberg and Alyssa Farah on The View this morning. This is kind of wild to me.
And it's slow. But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Tehran and killed for
I'm sorry.
Listen, I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you, as a
I literally said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes, it is up to them. And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good, whoever does it. It's not good.
She can't acknowledge that as much as there are bad people in this country who do bad things, it's state policy in Iran. Whoopi Goldberg is actually arguing that Iran in 2025 and the United States in 2025 are the same. This is how broken these people on The View are. Alyssa Farah is actually from Iran and understands the situation there. Wow. Y'all, I got to tell you about my friends at Old Glory Bank. I got such an encouraging email from the CEO of Old Glory Bank today and how well the bank is doing. And I'm delighted to be a part of it through getting you guys there. They've crossed over $200 million in customer deposits just a couple weeks ago, and they're already at $215 million in customer deposits, which is fantastic. They have increased the amount of business accounts they have. And less than 2 years, they're just exploding, and I'm delighted for their success. And you can be a part of it by going to oldglorybank.com/Eric. Y'all, they really are that good of a bank. I love telling people about Old Glory Bank. I recommend them to everybody. It's just that they're a great bank. I've got a checking account and a savings account with them. You can too. Your business can too. And they're conservatives. They're going to protect your business. They're going to protect your rights to bank with them. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Just go check them out today. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. I love them. You will too. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply. Y'all, there's a way for you to beat tariffs and still get that new kitchen you want. You Google Frugal Kitchens. Right now, you book an appointment with Frugal Kitchens. They're going to give you the Frugal Price Lock, where you're going to be able to get your kitchen remodeled with Frugal Kitchens for a great price with $1 million look, and you'll lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today, book your appointment this month, and you'll save big and increase the value of your home with that kitchen you've been wanting. Google Frugal Kitchens today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 1:30. I'm Austin Ellert. This news brought to you by Ben Hill Renovations. Our top stories new at 1:30. A senior U.S. intelligence official says Iran's readied missiles and equipment for strikes on U.S. bases in the region if the U.S. joins Israel's war efforts against Iran. Jeff McCausland reports all eyes are on Iran's Fordo enrichment facility.
We have 40,000 troops roughly in the region, and as soon as you strike Fordo, you've put all those people on a bullseye for potential retaliation.
And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tells senators the Pentagon's providing options to President Trump as he decides next steps, but neither Hegseth or the president have said what, if any, action will be taken. Tune in often for the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. We'll have coverage at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks. WSB recall alert. The USDA announces a recall of chicken fettuccine Alfredo products that may be linked to an outbreak of listeria, blamed for 3 deaths and 17 illnesses in 13 states. Fresh Realm is voluntarily recalling its tray packages sold at Walmart and Kroger stores produced prior to June 17th. The chicken Alfredo with fettuccine packages were sold under the Market Side or Home Chef brand names. And there's another confirmed case of measles in Georgia. The State Department of Public Health confirming this afternoon the 6th case in the state so far this year. It's in an unvaccinated family member of the confirmed measles case from last month. The agency says that person was quarantined at home after exposure, so there's no risk of additional exposure to the public. It is 1:32. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
Y'all, it's Eric. I know some of you are concerned about tariff prices impacting things in your lives, including kitchen remodels. Well, listen to this. You can book an appointment this month with Frugal Kitchens and get the Frugal Price Lock. They will lock you into pre-tariff prices. All you got to do is Google Frugal Kitchens for details, and they're offering 0% financing. You want your kitchen remodeled, you want to add value to your home, you're worried about tariffs, here's your opportunity. Google Frugal Kitchens. Start that kitchen redesign today.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
Has your pest control company recently told you they won't be coming inside your home anymore and they raised their prices? Outside Only Pest Control is just an industry trick to save their company time and money while leaving your home at risk. Meteorologist Christina Edwards here for my bug and critter company, Breda Pest Management. They do it right, protecting the outside and inside of your home. If your current company claims to protect your home from pests, shouldn't that include your actual home and not just your yard? It's the bugs inside your house that you want gone. And inside your home is where your current company won't go anymore. So if your pest control company is doing less and charging you more, you need Breda Pest Management to protect the inside and outside of your home. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
It's 1:34, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. George Clark is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Yes, we've got some new crashes in Fulton County and Atlanta on I-75-85 southbound just north of Langford Parkway, exit 243. A new crash has 2 center left lanes blocked. You can use Highway 29 Lee Street as an alternate there. And in Fulton County on I-285 southbound outer loop, just north of Highway 78 Hollowell Parkway, exit 12, you've got a crash blocking a left lane. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today, hot and humid with a high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, high 89. Drying out on Friday, partly cloudy, high 91.
It's 83 in Sandy Springs, Decatur, and Midtown. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. We're watching this situation in Israel right now. Rockets heard above Tel Aviv. A third U.S. aircraft carrier has been deployed close to Israel. And the Chinese have been sending 747 cargo freighters to Iran. Interestingly enough, according to the Associated Press, what's happening is they're getting very close to the Iranian border and turning off transponders so that they can't be seen on radar systems as they go below radar and get into Iran. They're probably bringing in nefarious things. Hours after JNS, and JNS is a news service. What does the J stand for? Is it, oh gosh, I had it pulled up, and then, the Jewish News Service. Yep. They disclosed that Colonel Nathan McCormick, the Levant and Egypt branch chief at the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has long posted anti-Israel statements on a semi-anonymous public social media account. He has been removed. So Nathan McCormick is a Biden administration holdover at the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's the Levant and Egypt branch chief at the Joint Chiefs of Staff, J5 Planning Directorate. And he is a well-known anti-Semite, according to members of the media. The information on the Twitter account does not reflect the position of the Joint Chiefs or the Department of Defense. The individual is being returned to his service while the matter is being investigated. Returning to service means he will no longer be on the Joint Staff while the matter is being investigated. We went through and looked at the hyperlinks and the content, so we were able to see the content, and we're essentially assigning an investigative officer to look into the matter. Our global alliances and partnerships are vital to our national security. The Pentagon official told JNS about the probe shortly after the social media account was disabled. Among the posts of this guy, Nathan McCormick, which have been archived, are references to, quote, Netanyahu and his judo supremacist cronies, to Washington having overwhelmingly enabled Israel's bad behavior, and to pro-Israel activists in the United States prioritizing support for Israel over our actual foreign interests. A Defense Department contractor who's interacted with McCormick described the postings as dangerous. This is the kind of bitter oversharing I'd expect from someone who doesn't know better, but at his level and under his name and likeness, it's mind-boggling that this guy would do this. This is the chief Israel planner, just so you understand. Colonel Nathan McCormick is the branch chief at the Joint Chiefs of Staff for planning in the Israel matters. That JNS learned that McCormick, according to his LinkedIn account, he's held the role since June of 2024, put there by Joe Biden, bashed Israel as a death cult that is America's worst ally. He's written hundreds of posts since the October 7th attack on Israel. The Western states go to great lengths to avoid criticism of Israel, much out of Holocaust guilt, he wrote. Israel's actions over decades have prompted the accusations of ethnic cleansing and genocide. Netanyahu and his judo supremacist cronies are determined to prolong the conflict for their own goals, either to remain in power or to annex the land. I've lately been considering whether we might be Israel's proxy and not realize it yet. Our worst ally, he called them. We get literally nothing out of the partnership other than the enmity of millions of people in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. The U.S. has not been an honest broker. We have overwhelmingly enabled Israel's bad behavior. In one post, replying to the idea of Gazans potentially finding refuge outside the Gaza Strip, McCormick wrote Israel wants to expel them and cleanse Eretz Israel of ethnic Palestinians. On October 11th, 5 days after Hamas's terror attack, McCormick wrote that, quote, Israel has an absolute right to respond militarily and civilians might legally be caught in the crossfire, but that Israel's responses always, not hyperbole, disproportionately target Palestinian civilians. Despite some attempts to anonymize his account, McCormick has repeatedly revealed his name and job title on the platform and has posted photos of himself that match his LinkedIn profile that include his uniform name tag. How so? What data? This is literally what I do at work every day, he wrote to someone in May. I'm the Joint Staff J5 Israel Branch Chief. His LinkedIn profile indicates he's responsible for Egypt and the wider Levant. On October 3rd, 2024, he posted a photo of a Meritorious Service Medal certificate issued to Lieutenant Colonel Nathan E. McCormick on June 1st, 2022. He's since been promoted to full colonel. Other posts include descriptions of his conversations with generals in the Israeli Defense Force, briefings from Israel's coordinator for humanitarian aid into Gaza, and aborted plans to send emails over the Pentagon's secret Internet Protocol router network for sharing classified information. A Department of Defense contractor who interacted with him said his postings are dangerous. The contractor raised the question whether McCormick's personal politics influenced the advice his team is giving to senior leaders. If this is what he's publicly sharing, who knows what he's saying behind closed doors, the contractor said. Who else has seen this? He's an easy mark for foreign intelligence agencies. Publicly expressing such radical views that undermine the president's policy opens the door for bad actors to exploit it. Posting discussions he's having with colleagues and details about conversations with foreign partners. I'm gobsmacked, the contractor said. In August, McCormick, again put there by Joe Biden, wrote on social media that the problems with pro-Israel political activism in the United States is that it prioritizes support for Israel over our actual foreign interests. He called called John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt's 2007 book, The Israel Lobby in U.S. Foreign Policy, which called the Anti-Defamation League, quote, a classical conspiratorial anti-Semitic analysis invoking the canards of Jewish power and Jewish control, a very good book. The argument that the pro-Israel lobby in the United States has shaped U.S. foreign relations to support Israel in ways that are strategically harmful to both the United States and Israel still holds, even though the book was published in 2007. Holy moly, this guy hates Israel. Joe Biden put him in charge, and he's been left there under the cover. And only now, because the Jewish News Service, has he been exposed and been removed from his job at the Pentagon, where he's been advising the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who have been hesitant to help Israel destroy this this facility, Fordow, in Iran, that's a hardened underground bunker where they've got the majority of their centrifuges. Now, here's the thing. Let's take Fox News out of this. Let's take me out of this. Let's go to Barry McCaffrey. Not exactly pro-Donald Trump. He's on MSNBC. Listen to MSNBC.
I think the Iranians are on the verge of creating 1 to 15 nuclear devices. I don't think this is Netanyahu domestic politics. These people are about to be a nuclear power, and that's a bad outcome for the United States and the Middle East.
That's on MSNBC. This is on CNN. With what's his name, who used to be one of the coordinators over there for the government, who knows what's going on. Just listen to this conversation between Anderson Cooper and McGurk, Brett McGurk.
I believe Anderson, not speaking for Prime Minister Netanyahu or anyone, but as someone who's dealt with this problem, the Iranian nuclear program has these advanced centrifuges and stockpiles of highly enriched uranium that has no conceivable civilian use. And the IAEA, which is no axe to grind, issued a report last week that found Iran to be in egregious violation of their nonproliferation obligations, and then 19 countries found them in violation of their nonproliferation commitments for the first time in 20 years. When this all broke, Anderson, 5 nights ago, we were talking about Fordo. That was the crux of it. I was immediately concerned. The Israelis cannot do that on their own, and that's where we are. And in Fordo, this underground facility, Iran has 10 cascades of these highly advanced IR-6 centrifuges enriching to 60% uranium. It's a serious, serious problem. I've dealt with it. I am not saying that if I was working on this issue, this might not be where we want to be. We want to try to get a deal, but we are where we are.
To his point, the IAEA has been sympathetic to Iran and really doesn't have an axe to grind. And the IAEA says that Iran has been building up enriched uranium beyond civilian use. There's no reason to build up enriched uranium beyond civilian use unless you're working on a nuclear weapon. It doesn't matter the timeline. There are people who say, well, we've been saying for 30 years they were going to get a nuclear weapon. They've been working on it for that long. It's taken them time to get around sanctions to be able to get it done. And now even the IAEA, which has been the most sympathetic to Iran, says, oh, they're actually really close, guys. Probably need to sanction them. Now, here's the funny thing what's her name? What's her name? The overnight lib at MSNBC. No, not Rachel Maddow. Who's the other one? MSNBC. Chris Hayes. That's it. Chris Hayes. Yes. Here with the Biden's Assistant Secretary of State.
Obviously, when Trump in his first administration got out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the so-called Iran nuclear deal, he ended diplomacy and set us on a path to this confrontation with Iran. There is no one who wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I'm not even sure the Supreme Leader of Iran wants a nuclear weapon, though he wants to leave his options open. We certainly don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. They are a destabilizing force in the Middle East. But Donald Trump has now decided that we are part of this war. And I think we are all waiting to see whether all the assets that we've sent to the Middle East are now going to take a strike, going to use our massive ordnance penetrator to deal a blow to Fordo, the deep underground enrichment facility, whether in fact this is going to set us on a path where no one has laid out what the end game is, what the end result is. We should not be about regime change, even if Israel is.
Wendy Sherman was the Assistant Secretary. She worked for Joe Biden. She worked for Barack Obama. She was complicit in the Iran deal that was, by all accounts, widely agreed, even by Democrats in the U.S. Senate, going to help Iran get a nuclear weapon. I mean, you got to remember that it was Democrats in the United States Senate who killed Barack Obama's nuclear deal with Iran. He had to do it as an executive deal. He couldn't do it as a treaty because it didn't have the votes from the Democrats in the Senate, because the Democrats in the Senate said the deal was a bad deal and it would move Iran towards a nuclear weapon. And Democrats are engaged in this level of revision that, not really. Actually, this deal would have kept them from getting a nuke. That, at the time, was completely different understanding. I mean, you've got this wild situation now where you've got even like Barry McCaffrey on MSNBC. You've got the team on Joe Scarborough in the morning saying, we can't allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And the IAEA, not exactly hostile to Iran, says that they're close. And again, for all the people who say, but we've been saying that for 30 years, how close do you want them to get before you stop them? David Ignatius, of all people, on MSNBC with Morning Joe.
This is a consequential choice that would change Donald Trump's presidency. You can imagine that you'll just go in with a B-2 and drop this bomb and bluey, there goes the Iranian nuclear program. But the follow-on consequences of that, because that would bring the regime into jeopardy, are enormous. In Iran that becomes anarchic, ungoverned, is a different kind of danger for the region. My fear about a limited military option is that we'd end up with something like Saddam Hussein in Iraq in the 1990s. We waged a limited war in 1991, the first Gulf War, to get the Iraqis out of Kuwait, and then pulled back. President George H.W. Bush thought, let's not get into a deep war there.
Isn't that great? You've got David Ignatius on MSNBC saying we should do regime change. That's MSNBC. Not a whole lot of people want to keep Iran where it is with a nuclear weapon. It is a distinctly minority opinion. Americans across the aisle have understood Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, and Donald Trump is yet again on the side of majority opinion. Stop a crazy regime from getting a nuclear weapon because it's the only crazy regime on planet Earth that thinks it is logical and rational to use one. Now, speaking of logic and rationality, that comes a lot in this country from the conservative movement, and that's what AFP is all about. They'd love to get you on their side for fighting for common sense tax reform. If you go to protectprosperity.com today, you can sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can get involved in the process and have your voice heard on the changes in the Senate to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Americans for Prosperity, they keep you informed. They give you the play-by-play, the latest on the changes in the legislation so that you know and can inform your friends and family. And they give you a one-stop shop at protectprosperity.com to connect to your members of the Senate and get their involvement and get them on your side for this legislation. All you have to do is go to protectprosperity.com today. You sign up at that website. It becomes a one-stop shop. They turn on an activism portal. You can connect to your members of the Senate and the members of the House and get engaged. ProtectProsperity.com is the website. One more time, Protect Prosperity, brought to you by our friends at Americans for Prosperity.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 in the Cool Rate Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. This crash in Atlanta is slowing you down big time on I-75-85 southbound just north of Langford Parkway, exit 243. Two center left lanes are blocked. Avoid the area. Use Highway 41 or Highway 29 as your alternate there. This report is sponsored by your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy. Kroger Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts, Medicare, and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Summer heat is no joke. I've trusted Ragsdale with my family's comfort for years, and you should too. Ragsdale now offering up to $1,700 off a brand new Carrier home comfort system. Along with saving big, you'll enjoy Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty on your new Carrier system. With over 10,000 reviews and a 4.9 Google rating, you know they take care of their customers. Schedule at ragsdaleair.com or give them a call. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Howdy, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. Let's go to the phones here. Chris in St. Cloud, Florida, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric, for having me on today.
Sure.
Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit, touch basis on this Tucker Carlson gig that just came out the other day. That you were talking about it recently, just a few minutes ago. Where does he get, having these talks with people undermining Trump, about Trump not knowing what he's doing, about getting us in another war, and there's going to be boots on the ground? Since when has Trump ever launched a strike somewhere and actually put boots on the ground?
Yeah. Look, I can't add to it, Chris, honestly. I mean, Donald Trump has never put boots on the ground anywhere and has largely said he's not going to. He has also said that Iran needs to not get a nuclear weapon, that it would be bad for us. So, yeah, I think Tucker it's very much in a frame of mind where Tucker thinks that Donald Trump owes him, and that Tucker Carlson amplified and elevated Donald Trump into a position, and Trump should do what Tucker wants. And largely what it is Tucker has seeded a false narrative about Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's afraid of being proven wrong, and he's afraid of being exposed with no influence, and so now he's at war with Trump. And why shouldn't we trust Donald? I mean, y'all, I'm not exactly Donald Trump's biggest fan, and I'm like, the man's not committing to regime change or boots on the ground. He just wants to take out Iran's nuclear capacity. And in that regard, we should be launching a bunker buster and blowing up the Fordo reinforced underground development facility. And trust when Donald Trump says he's not going to send the American military. We're not invading Iran. We're ending Iran's capability for nuclear weapons. That is not nation building. That's nation saving. It saves the whole world. I mean, have you noticed the silence of the Arab nations? You don't have Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Bahrain and Oman and even Qatar, which has been funding a lot of this anti-Israel, pro-Iran stuff. You don't have them out there cheering on Iran and attacking Israel. It's remarkably quiet. Remarkably quiet. Y'all, I'm going to trust Donald Trump and those around him on this issue, because I, like Donald Trump, believe that Iran should not get a nuclear weapon. And for 20 years, Donald Trump has been saying Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, and he intends to keep his promise. This is what I voted for. And it's what all these other guys voted for, too. And now they're like, I didn't vote for this. Yes, you did, because he's been really consistent on this point and sealing the border, the two most consistent points he's made for 20 years. Grow up. We'll take more of your calls on the other side and get on with the other news of the day.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Thursday starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, you can still get 4% returns on your investment. Clark Howard knows how. He'll tell us on WSB.
It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There's so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story, a new effort by Atlanta police to keep the city safe this summer.
Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says the department's efforts to fight crime have been successful, with overall crime down 10% since this time last year and homicides alone down 33%. During the summer months, he says it's all hands on deck.
Your police department, as I said, is not going to take a vacation this summer. We're going to tackle gun violence, we're going to tackle auto thefts, and we are going to tackle street racing throughout the city. Don't bring that here.
He says residents will notice the police presence with mounted patrols and bike patrols in the city's parks and an increased use of the department's air unit. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
86 degrees in Atlanta, and yes, it is raining again. Scattered showers and storms around the metro this afternoon. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Iran is preparing to retaliate if the U.S. joins Israel's war against Iran. CBS News national security consultant Jeff McCausland says the U.S. has several bases in the region that could be targets.
We have 40,000 troops roughly in the region, and as soon as you strike Fordo, you've put all those people on a bullseye for potential retaliation, either directly by Iran, which has missile capabilities that could strike almost all those locations in places like Iraq, Syria, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, etc., or offshore.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tells senators today the Pentagon is providing options to President Trump as he decides the next steps. A new measles case in Georgia.
The Georgia Department of Public Health confirms the 6th case in the state so far this year. It's in an unvaccinated family member of the confirmed measles case from last month. The agency says that person was quarantined at home after exposure, so there's no risk of additional exposure to the public. 2 additional cases associated with the outbreak have since fully recovered. The Atlanta-based CDC says the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine's the best way to stay protected from measles. There were 6 reported cases last year. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
In a major setback for transgender rights, the U.S. Supreme Court today upholds a Tennessee ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors. The 6-3 ruling essentially protects from legal challenges as the White House and many state governments work to roll back protections for transgender people. 26 other states have laws similar to this one in Tennessee. New concerns and the latest report on funding for Social Security. The annual report from Social Security's trustees finds it won't be able to fully pay monthly benefits to tens of millions of retirees and those with disabilities beginning in 2034 unless lawmakers take action. It is now 2:02. This news is sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey, remember that crack in the concrete by your pool, the one everyone keeps tripping on? It's still there. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can fix that. Just schedule a free inspection at aquaguard.net and a team of experts will stop by to help you out. Remember the name.
AquaGuard. It's your money. Get it sooner. All you need is direct deposit with a checking or savings account at Coosa Valley Credit Union. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Not only can you get your money sooner, but we believe in kinder banking where you deal with real people in person. So come see us.
This upcoming health tip is brought to you by Kroger Pharmacy. Mold, pet dander, and dust mites are the most common culprits of allergies. In most situations, the key is avoidance. So if a dust mite allergy is the problem, wash your bed sheets weekly in hot water and invest in an allergen-reducing mattress cover. Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts, Medicare D, and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/pay-or-update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
It is 2:04 and time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center this afternoon, it's George Clark.
Yes, and this crash in Atlanta has turned into a major gridlock alert. I-75-85 southbound just north of Langford Parkway, exit 243. It is now blocking 5 right lanes. Just 2 left lanes are open. Do not get into this mess. Use Highway 41 or Highway 29 as your alternates to make it through the city. Delays are backed up all the way back to 17th Street due to this crash right now, so avoid I-75-85 southbound through Midtown and downtown. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, hot and humid with a high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, high 89. Drying out on Friday, partly cloudy, high 91.
And this just into WSB's newsroom. The Federal Reserve is keeping its key interest rate unchanged. It still expects 2 rate cuts at some point this year. Right now, as we check out Storm Tracker radar, there is shower activity across the metro area. Gwinnett County getting hammered right now. Some heavy rain also in Cobb County. Rain extending across into Alabama, heading toward metro Atlanta. It's 86 in East Point, 84 Lawrenceville, 74 Ackworth. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is the 3rd hour of the program. I have news for you. The Federal Reserve saying that unemployment remains remarkably low. The Federal Reserve has been meeting. The central bank forecasts a concern of stagflation. This is happening right now. The Federal Reserve is expected to be a little bit careful when it comes to interest rates. The news is literally happening right now as I come back on air. And the Fed is concerned about the issue of stagflation. Jerome Powell will have a press conference at 2:30. And their statements and what we might expect with interest rate policy. The Fed is expected to, well, there it comes, just seeing the wires. They're holding rates steady, but expect to cut twice this year. So happening right now as I come on air, the Federal Reserve announcing that interest rates will not be cut this time. They plan on 2 cuts later this year. They are concerned about stagflation. Stagflation is you've got high inflation and you have a stagnant economy and they can't really cut rates. It's locked in. Now, this is the other thing that is problematic. The President of the United States is saying that he is considering direct military action in Iran. Iranian officials, happening right now, Iranian officials are denying that they have asked Donald Trump to start negotiating again. The Iranian officials say they haven't asked. Donald Trump is now saying that he expects, or is considering at least, direct military action. Iran's supreme leader has rejected the idea of any surrender. This is the president a short time ago on the lawn at the White House being asked about the supreme leader.
What do you say to the supreme leader of Iran, who says good luck.
What is the end game?
Say it? It's already run out. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah, they had 60 days and a big, 60 days, plenty of time. And they made a mistake. Honestly, they made a mistake. Their country's in ruins. So many people are dead that shouldn't be dead. It's a very sad thing.
Very sad thing. People are dead who shouldn't be dead. It's a sad thing. Good luck to the supreme leader. Donald Trump says we know where he is. In fact, there is word coming right now that the Israelis have begun bombing in locations where the supreme leader is suspected of being. Now, my guess is that the president is considering the bunker buster. So I was texting my buddy Jared back and forth a little while ago. And Jared, he says, I thought we had used a bunker buster in Afghanistan, but everything I'm seeing is that it's never been employed. And I'm thinking it was the Moab. It must have been the mother of all bombs. The mother of all bombs. It does something to that thing. Is just it's an incredible weapon. It's not Tsar Bomba, but it's an incredible thing. Yeah. The mother of all bombs, I don't know if it's MILF category or not, but it is a special weapon, and I do believe we deployed that in Afghanistan. And I'm thinking that the bunker buster, probably correct, we haven't deployed it, but the president seems like he may want to deploy the bunker buster. What is the bunker buster? I am no expert. I do not play an expert. However, I do actually read the experts, the actual people who develop the weapons, who actually know what's going on. The bunker buster is a weapon developed by the United States for a very long time. In the United States, the calculus was that we could just drop a nuke. Well, for lots of reasons, not just the political fallout, we finally decided not to develop a nuke. So what we came up with was the GBU-57, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It is a 30,000-pound bomb encased in high-density steel alloy designed to plummet through 200 feet of mountain rock before exploding. That's how the Wall Street Journal describes it. Military analysts said the large bunker buster has the best chance of getting through to targets like the Fordo uranium enrichment facility, which Iran has buried under a mountain. Its existence has driven speculation that the U.S. could get involved in the attack. This is really what it was designed for, says Mark Kansian, who matched bombs to targets in the military and later worked at the Pentagon on procurement and budgeting, including programs like the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. Before bunker busters, the military figured it could turn to nuclear weapons to blast through mountains, but now those are unpalatable for a variety of reasons, including, well, the fallout. So the U.S. has been working on these bombs. They spent up $400 billion to develop them. They apparently have 20 of them in the arsenal, according to the people who are involved in procurement of the military. So there are 20 of these bombs, and they are designed to be delivered by a B-2 stealth bomber. Now, Israel has notched direct hits on Iran's underground centrifuge halls at Natanz. We know that because the IAEA says that radiation has been detected. It's fine in the area, but underground they're detecting radiation. The U.S. has not become involved. However, just so you know, there are actually reports today coming from people inside the White House that the president believes it would make more sense for the United States to drop one bunker buster on Fordo, one bunker buster on Fordo, than to have the Israelis send in the troops, because the Israelis have decided they will send in special forces to take out the facility if the United States will not use the bunker buster. Now, what would be worse? What would be more would be a greater escalation? Dropping one bomb or sending in a bunch of Jews to take it out? I'm thinking sending in the Israeli soldiers into a hardened facility would actually be a greater escalation than just dropping the bunker buster bomb. We will see. Now, related to all of this and what's happening there, I actually want to take a phone call right here from Patty. Calling from, Patty, I'm going to mispronounce. Is it Naugatuck, Connecticut?
You did a great job. Thank you very much for taking my call. You've had a great show. I've only listened to your show since yesterday. It's fabulous.
Thank you so
It's
much.
fabulous. I wanted to make a few little comments, just a few of my own little thoughts. You know, I was thinking if the regime in Iran wanted to somehow hurt us or hurt the world, that they could actually go through close the Strait of Hormuz, disrupt the price of oil, send that sky high, affect Saudi Arabia. And I guess I'll ask you, I don't think they would do that because I think it wouldn't be just a small outrage. I think they'd have the outrage of all the ships and all the countries behind those ships that use that Strait of Hormuz. So I think I was just looking for weak spots where they could hurt us, and that was one of them. But I don't think they'll use it because I think it would end up backfiring on them. And then the other thing I was thinking of is, you know, we talk about regime change, and I see the reluctance of both Israel and the United States, and that's great. And I also am a person, as you said, who are very much behind the President of the United States. He gets to decide, and I respect what he does. He knows the most. He has the most intelligence, and he's working on the behalf of the United States and the world, and I think he's really looking to save us all, so to do the least harm. And I think the people have the most power for that, and it should be given to them. But I think they may be reluctant because past practice in history over time, even in my lifetime, every time they went in the street, it failed. And the consequences and the punishments to the people were extremely severe. And the women were raped and a lot of very, very damaging to them. So I think they're waiting, and I think they may flee. But fleeing also helps to change because if there's nobody left, there's no regime to manage because they're all gone. So that actually may help, you know, for the change of the current regime. But I also wanted to say that in ours, the way the Americans communicate, I know this is a very heated kind of thing, and it brings the country to places we may not go. And again, I say I trust my president because I don't think he wants boots on the ground either. I think he's trying to fill a need that Israel has and to do it that actually benefits the world and actually is a promoter of peace. If someone disagrees with me or someone else or I disagree, I really want to do that very, very politely with each other because we all come from different places and different thoughts, and sometimes we all know different information. And I don't want to see Americans being angry and argumentative and cause conflict amongst us because our power is the unity of us all. And
Patty,
we don't want a divided country.
Patty, I want to go back to, listen, first, thank you very much for listening in Connecticut. I appreciate it very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to call in. And I want to spend a moment on the Straits of Hormuz because you raise a very thoughtful point, and it sounds like you've arrived at the conclusion that I have arrived at. The Straits of Hormuz, for those of you who don't know, the Persian Gulf sits to the west of the Straits of Hormuz. The Arabian Peninsula goes up to a point, and at the top of that point is a portion of Oman. It's divided from all of Oman by the United Arab Emirates. Corfu Khan, where I used to go on vacation as a kid, in Fujairah, there to the east of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates is north of Oman. And then north of Ras Al Khaimah, you get back into the territory of Oman and the islands of Oman that jut out into the Persian Gulf there at the Straits of Hormuz. North of there is Iran. And there has been talk about Iran closing off the Straits of Hormuz. Here's the problem. China gets most of its oil from Iran. And to get the oil out of Iran to China, that oil has to go through the Straits of Hormuz. So if Iran shuts off the Straits of Hormuz to punish the world so that it can't get the oil from Abu Dhabi and from Saudi Arabia, well, some of that oil could flow through the Red Sea ports, although you would have to deal with the Houthi. But a lot of that oil could come from the United States of America, which now on a daily basis is producing more barrels of oil than Saudi Arabia. I bet you didn't know that, but it's true. So the price of oil goes up. It makes the United States richer. And China can't get Iran's oil. By the way, you will notice that while Israel has blown up a number of oil refineries and oil reserves in the Tehran area, that's all for Iranian consumption. It's not for export. Israel has left the export facilities alone. My suspicion is that if Israel gets intelligence that China is actually helping Iran, they're going to blow up those export facilities. Now, if they blow up the export facilities, Iran's got nothing to lose. It'll shut down the Straits of Hormuz. But as long as the export facilities are open and Iran can get its oil out to China, I think that they're going to leave the Straits of Hormuz open. I don't think they can shut down the Straits of Hormuz without undermining Iran itself, because it's dependent on China. The Chinese are somewhat okay with Israel doing what it's doing because China itself understands the Iranians are not Western radical, secular radical, or secular rational actors. They actually have a religious complex towards wanting a nuke to use it. But there's certainly involvement between Iran and China. And a large part of that involvement comes from the export of oil in the black market for China. And all of that comes from the Straits of Hormuz. So Patty's right. If they shut down the Straits of Hormuz, it cuts off Iran's nose to spite its face. And suddenly China has no reason to keep Iran going because it no longer can get Iran's oil. So shutting off the Straits of Hormuz would be a dumb thing for Iran to do. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see it happening as long as we leave their export facilities alone. But honestly, if you shut down Iran's export facilities and blow up the island where they do all their exports for oil, you cripple the Iranian economy and you bring about regime change without ever having to actually put troops in.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 in the Cool Lake area, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still a travel advisory here on I-75-85 southbound in Fulton County, just north of Langford Parkway, exit 243. It looks like it is moving over to the right shoulder as we speak. That crash that had 5 right lanes blocked for quite a while there, it is moving over to the right shoulder, and all lanes are open right now. So delays should be getting better, but at the moment they're still all the way backed up to 17th Street, so use Highway 41 as an alternate. This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off, no antibiotics ever, 80% lean ground beef with Prime through June 24th. Well supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride
Don't
home.
tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
School's out and everyone is home, so trustworthy air conditioning and cool comfort is a must. Ashley Frasca here to tell you this June, Ragsdale gives you up to $1,700 off a brand new Carrier home comfort system. Along with saving big, you'll enjoy Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty on your new Carrier system that's zero repair cost until June of 2040. For years now, Ragsdale has helped us stay comfortable, from installing a new high-efficiency system in our home and getting much-needed AC to the basement, to installing outdoor electrical outlets so we can spend more time on the back deck. Ragsdale has been the name I know you can trust for all of your plumbing, electrical, and insulation needs. And they're a great company to work for. Many employees have been at Ragsdale for 10, 20, even 30 years, so you know you're getting valuable experience and expertise in your home. Schedule your next visit online at ragsdaleair.com or give one of their many friendly customer service reps a call now. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name-brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. People often ask me why our mattresses last so long. The answer is simple. We build them right. Not only are OMF mattresses durable, they give you peace of mind from day one. When you invest in a mattress from OMF, you're investing in better sleep tonight and smart savings for years to come. No more frequent replacements, no more wasted time shopping. To learn more about the true value of durability, visit originalmattress.com and read our latest blog on getting the most from your mattress investment.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's army of activists and let your voice be heard. Text ARMY to 33777.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Folks, I have run afoul of the declared National Socialist Daryl Cooper, who believes that Hitler was the victim in World War II and Winston Churchill was the bad guy. Yes, the man who thinks that Winston Churchill was the bad guy of World War II is upset with me because someone created a cartoon that I put out on Twitter of Tucker Carlson shoving a microphone in Luke Skywalker's face saying, "What is the population of the Death Star?" And the Nazi replies, "Did not see that coming. For those keeping score, the current party line is that war with Iran is just like World War II and Star Wars, but not at all like any of the recent Mideast wars they sold us using the exact same rhetoric and reasons." Now, I was making a point about Tucker Carlson's absurd comment to Ted Cruz that if Ted Cruz doesn't know the population of Iran, he can't comment on whether Iran can have a nuclear weapon. That was my point, but apparently the Nazi can extrapolate my pointing the absurdity of Tucker Carlson into a massive soliloquy on war in the Middle East. It's just the idea that Ted Cruz cannot have an opinion on whether or not Iran should get a nuclear weapon because he doesn't know the population of Iran is actually absurd. Likewise, the U.S. intelligence services have pointed out now for the last couple of years, including in the Biden administration, that Iran had been trying to find someone to assassinate Donald Trump. Tucker Carlson asks Ted Cruz if he knows the names of the assassins, and Cruz says, "I don't know the names of the assassins." And Tucker Carlson says, "Well, then it didn't happen." It's just so stupid. You know, if we gather intelligence that says Iran is plotting something, and I'm sorry, we don't yet have the names of the plotters, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just a dumb line of questioning, and he's trying to take advantage of dumb people. Now, I got to move on and tell you smart people to go get an Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them and save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a filterless air purifier. It wipes out pollen and dust. It wipes out 99.9% of bacteria and viruses that flow through it. It eliminates them, and then it kills all odors, just destroys the odors. It generates ozone that latches onto the ionized particles you and I know as odors that trigger your nose to produce a smell in your brain, and it, well, works very, very well. I travel with one. You can get 3 of them. They're small. You can put one in a travel bag, put one in your RV, put one in your kitchen, wherever you need them. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. Eden, like the Garden of Eden, pure as driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3, no space. And you can clean the air today and thank me tomorrow.
The Guaranteed Offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and
At
Talk.
2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's a WSB Money Update. The Federal Reserve leaving interest rates unchanged. CBS News Money analyst Jill Schlesinger says borrowers are the big losers here.
I have a credit card balance. That credit card balance, the average interest rate, is over 21%. I go get a new car, 8%. That's a lot.
It's the Fed's 4th consecutive meeting without cuts. It still expects 2 rate cuts this year. President Trump is not tipping his hand on whether the U.S. plans to strike Iran.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble.
During an event at the White House today, the president reiterates his concerns about Iran's nuclear program. Iran is preparing to retaliate if the U.S. joins Israel's war against Iran. Atlanta police go all out to keep the city safe this summer.
While many Atlantans will go on vacation this year, while individuals will travel here for their vacation, your police department will not be on vacation. We are going to be working double hard to make sure that you enjoy the summer.
Chief Darren Shearbaum says overall crime is down 10% from this time last year, and homicides are down 33%. It is raining again today, and in fact, it has rained nearly every day for 2 straight weeks in Metro Atlanta. When you combine the rainfall totals from May and the first 17 days of June, it's on track for one of the top 10 wettest on records. If there is a silver lining, the entire state of Georgia is now drought-free for the first time in over a year. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404 Compute. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer, you got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
2 of rock's most iconic bands, Kansas and 38 Special. Together in one night, rocking Fox Theater, Saturday, June 21st, 7 p.m. With special guest, The Outlaws. On sale now at foxtheater.org. Don't miss Kansas and 38 Special live.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's 2:34. George Clark in the 24-hour traffic center.
Yes, new in DeKalb, you've got a crash on I-20 eastbound just before Panola Road, exit 71. That's blocking a left lane. Delays still shaking out due to that earlier crash in the city. I-75-85 southbound. It's cleared now. It was just before University Avenue, exit 244, but delays still backed up to 17th Street on I-75-85 southbound, and rain is drenching I-75 throughout Cobb, so just keep that in mind as you travel through Marietta and such. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
Scattered showers and storms across metro Atlanta this afternoon. Right now, 73 in Duluth, 82 in Peachtree City, 76 in Dallas. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Y'all, I can't make this up. I am not competent and capable enough to make this up. You know what Roblox is? My son used to play Roblox. It's a online interface of people. It's terrible, like 1980 style graphics games. Well, they've started transitioning it to monetize it to building communities, and there are people who have invested in their communities on Roblox. And the nut job, Taylor Lawrence, she says, on Monday, I reported on anti-ICE protests taking over Roblox. One of the kids I interviewed texted me this morning to share that the Roblox protesters are facing police violence. Someone literally texted and says, hello, I was in a Roblox ICE protest, but then we all got shot by the police. I gotta tell my son. So kids on this online environment, again, y'all have got to think like early 1980s computer graphics. So some kids decide to assemble in their community to protest ICE in the Roblox universe online, and other kids dress up as police officers and open fire online. Oh, I'm so sorry. The online trolls battling each other. My gosh, yes. I was in a Roblox ICE protest, but then we all got shot by the police. No, you didn't get shot by the police. You got shot by other people trolling you online because you built the community online instead of in the real world like you're supposed to. That is just way too funny. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. This is kind of important. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, is announcing that they're not going to be raising or lowering interest rates right now. Everything is going to stay the same as it is, and that the near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up in recent months. Looking at the economy, let me jump over and see if I can pull up the audio of his press conference real quick so we can hear some of this happening as the markets are going up on news that they do expect to raise interest rates twice this year. He says the U.S. economy is actually in a solid position overall. Big news here from Jerome Powell as he decides that the economy is in a solid position. Rates are not yet going to be lowered, but the Federal Reserve expects to lower rates twice this year. So that would probably be September and then December.
Objections are not a committee plan or decision. At this meeting, the committee continued its discussions as part of our 5-year review of our monetary policy framework. We focused on issues related to assessing the risks and uncertainties that are relevant for monetary policy and the potential implications for policy, strategy, and communications. Our review includes outreach and public events involving a wide range of parties, including Fed Listens events around the country and a research conference that we held last month. We are open to new ideas and critical feedback, and we will take on board lessons of the last 5 years in determining our findings. We intend to wrap up any modifications to our statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy by late summer. After that, we will consider enhancements to our suite of communications tools, including the SEP. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
He also, by the way, said before I jumped in that the 2 goals were intention. The Fed's goal has always been to keep inflation low, and then Congress added on maximize employment, and essentially they tinker with rates and stuff to try to stimulate the economy, to stimulate hiring, and occasionally those goals are in conflict, and when that happens, that's when you get stagflation, and that's his worry. So that is happening right now. Breaking news from Jerome Powell. They're not going to raise rates right now. They expect to raise them twice this year still, though. That is encouraging the markets. The markets are up on the news. The Dow's up 152 points right now. NASDAQ is up 94.09, and the S&P is up 21.8 points. I also want to play you this audio. This is older audio, but to give you a sense of things, you're going to hear it in Arabic. I will translate for you. God is the greatest, they're chanting. Khamenei is our leader. Death to America. U.S. authorities complain and ask, why do Iranians say death to America? Let me make something clear for U.S. leaders. Let me make something clear for U.S. leaders. Death to America means death to Trump, death to John Bolton, death to Mike Pompeo. It means death to America. That is the Ayatollah Khamenei addressing the Iranian parliament. This is from Trump's first term. Death to America means death to America. The Ayatollah Khamenei says there is there's not a it means death to Americans. There's not I mean, take the man at his word. They've been very consistent. Death to America means death to America. And Iran wants to get the bomb. That is the Ayatollah Khamenei from Donald Trump's first term. Trump says now this afternoon he may or may not use the American military in Iran. That's kind of not a definitive statement. May or may not. He is not sure, but he wants Iran to end its nuclear weapons capability. Iran today is saying that it is not going to go back to the negotiating table with the United States. That Donald Trump saying it was going to the negotiating table was a lie, and it has no intention of surrendering. This may be the end of the Iranian regime. We'll see. To the phones we go. I want to go to Vince. Welcome to the show, Vince. How are you?
I am great, Eric. How are you?
I'm good.
I have a possible suggestion for what to do to alleviate the fears of the donkey derrieres such as Tucker Carlson. Why don't we just sell the bunker buster to Israel, lease them the B-2, and let them make our crew Israeli citizens, commission them into the IDF, and let them fly under the IDF flag?
I think that's a tremendously good idea. I wonder if something like that's in the works. And look, I realize this is a kind of a fun idea, but I actually wonder if this is something to consider, because it makes perfect sense.
Why not? I mean, why not? It's one of those things where it's like they cross commission all the time for other things, so why not just do that here?
I personally,
then you have the receipts that the U.S. was not involved, and it was an all Israeli thing.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think that's something that needs to be considered. Sell them the bomb. Let them lease the B-2. Let them take over the crew. Fly the plane, drop the bomb, and revert the plane back to the United States the next day. Why not? Not a bad idea. It keeps us out of it. The Washington Times is reporting right now from the White House. The president is saying that in the next several days, he will decide the extent of U.S. military involvement between Iran and Israel over the Iranian nuclear weapons program. Israel says its operation is going to continue for 2 weeks. Yesterday during the program, I mentioned President Trump's tweet that we have achieved air superiority over Iran, and I said, I don't know if he was meaning we as in the United States or we as in Israel. And a friend of mine who was listening from the White House texted me to make very clear that he actually does mean the United States, that we are playing defense for Israel. Essentially, we're using American fighter jets to clear the air in Iran so that Israel can work on offense. So we're not offensively engaged in Iran, taking out Iranian missiles, missile launchers, anti-aircraft arrays. We are just in defense so that if, for example, there's a lock on Israeli jets, we take out the Iranians so that they don't get their hands on an F-35. And we're not actually engaged on offense. That's the perfect way to do this. So there's no regime change here. And that's the wild thing here. Is it not wild, the amount of people who are freaking out about Donald Trump, who has been very consistent? He doesn't want to do regime change. He doesn't want to be the world's policeman. He doesn't want to have boots on the ground in the Middle East. And he doesn't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. And so we're doing an air bombing campaign. And these are like, we can't do this. We can't do this. This is nation building. There sure is a lot of emotional investment among these people to claim Donald Trump is doing something Donald Trump is not doing. Why is that? Why do they always wind up siding with America's enemies? Why is that? They always side with America's enemies. Jim, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Jim. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for taking my call. I was going to speak to you about something else, and maybe if you have another minute, but just very quickly, you were just talking with a caller from Connecticut regarding oil exportation. Mm-hmm. And I was just going to add, in addition to China being dependent on the Iranian oil, there's the world's largest democracy, India, which is highly dependent upon receiving that oil. They've also received a huge transfer, a shift of manufacturing from China as they're increasing their industrial base. So, that's something to take into consideration, right? I mean, right. You don't want to interrupt that flow. And Eric, you had mentioned that there was no pushback from the states in the Mideast regarding the Israeli warfare. But I saw posted online that the Saudi Arabia Foreign Ministry condemned, this is a quote, condemns Israel aggression against the Brotherly Islamic Republic of Iran.
Right.
I don't know at what point that post was set online, but it appeared.
So yeah, Jim, I'm glad you brought that up. So let me clarify my point. In the Middle East, in diplomacy, there's the public and the private. Mm-hmm. And for the last 60 years, 70 years, there's been indoctrination of citizens of these countries that Israel was the great Satan or the little Satan or the bad Satan or just not good. And they've slowly been evolving. A lot of the population of these nations still don't like Israel because of all the indoctrination over the last 60, 80 years. What has happened is that, though, these Arab countries have moved towards Israel. So Saudi Arabia issues public statements saying, we don't like this. But Saudi Arabia has also said, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, we're getting nuclear weapons. We don't want them, but we're going to get them if Iran gets them. And we hope that Iran can be deterred. What you're not seeing, and this is the notable stuff, you're seeing the public statement, and why that statement is a public statement that I know is meant for the masses is, where did it go? The public statement from the Foreign Service for Saudi Arabia did not release that statement onto the world stage, didn't send it to the Wall Street Journal, didn't send it to the New York Times, didn't send it to the AP. They sent it to the Saudi Arabian domestic press. They put it in the local newspapers in Saudi Arabia. Behind the scenes, we're not getting Mohammed bin Salman telling President Trump, I'm going to cut your oil. We're not getting the president of the UAE or the prime minister of the UAE, who's very pro-America, saying that this is bad. They're not telling us we're not allowed to launch from military bases in Saudi Arabia. They're not doing any of that stuff that if they were really opposed, they would be doing. The key is the airspace issue, Jim, that if Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Bahrain were really opposed to what Israel is doing, they would tell the United States, you can't use our airspace. And because we have Air Force bases in those countries, it would mean we couldn't take off from those countries. And that's not happening. It's not happening. They're allowing us to take off from those air bases to control the air in Iran. So they can't really be upset with what Israel is doing because they're unwilling to close their airspace to this effort. Their public statements that they're releasing are being released in domestic media, not in international media, which suggests they're trying to tell their homegrown audience, we don't like this. But internationally, they're saying, take out Iran's nuclear weapons. It's the behind-the-scenes stuff that matters greatly there. Now, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College because I love them, and I've been taking some of the classes. The economics class, the capitalism class, actually really, really good. I've taken the Constitution class before about the Constitutional Convention. You can take them too, and they're free of charge. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You get a certificate of completion. I have gotten my certificate of completion for a couple of the courses from Hillsdale College. Never paid a penny. You won't either. You go to ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up at Hillsdale College today, and you get started. It is a fantastic, fantastic program at Hillsdale College. You take up to 40 courses. They cover things from history to philosophy to religion to political science to English to literature to chemistry to math to economics. You find a topic you're interested in, and you get smarter on that topic with the best faculty at Hillsdale. They're video lectures divided into individual episodes. You do at your own pace. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Go get smarter with Hillsdale College at ericforhillsdale.com.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 in the Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center in Gwinnett County. New crash I-85 northbound at Buford Drive. Exit 115. 2 left lanes are blocked there due to a jackknifed tractor trailer. You can use I-985 as an alternate to get by those delays. And you've got a big volume still in the city. I-75-85 southbound from 17th Street down to University Avenue is slow. I-75-85 northbound slow from University Avenue up to 10th. I'm George Clark, 95.5. Oh, this report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off. No antibiotics ever. 80% lean ground beef with Prime through June 24th. While supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. I'm George Clark, 95.5 WSB.
More local news.
Full ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile, Governor Kemp reacting.
More traffic.
Interloop injury crash, 2 left lanes.
More weather.
This thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin up.
Atlanta's Morning News. Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Reach-in closets, walk-in closets, pantry spaces, garages. With a custom spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. All your stuff neatly organized and designed to stay that way. Call the